Armstrong died last week. He was 82 years old. Well, they fight for our country, putting their lives on the line. So shouldn't their vote be our top priority? Up next, a fair and balanced look at whether the Obama campaign is doing enough to make sure that military voters are sold. Well, they fight for our country, putting their lives on the line. So shouldn't their vote be our top priority? Up next, a fair and balanced look at whether the Obama campaign is doing enough to make sure that military voters who live in Ohio are a part of this election. And back in this country, a federal judge has issued an injunction against an Ohio voting law. That law allows only military voters to vote in the 3 days leading up to an election. The judge says that's a violation of equal protection. Radio show hosts Mark Levine and Ben Ferguson are here with reaction to give us some insights on how all of this is playing out. Gentlemen, welcome. Great to have you here today.
Thank you, Emma.
Morning.
Good morning. Ohio's Attorney General plans to appeal this ruling, saying the states have the right to set the hours and the time of an election, giving special consideration to our military. Ben, what's your reaction to the judge's preliminary injunction at this point?
Well, I'm not surprised that on the politics of this, but I also think it's sad that the White House thinks right now what they should be doing and fighting on is suppressing military voters. If you talk to those in the military, a lot of them have abnormal schedules, and a lot of them are coming back from deployments, and this 3-day window is basically a way of saying, hey, we know you're fighting for this country. We know you're defending this country. We want to make sure that you can vote in person, because there's something very patriotic about doing that if you so choose. But even more than that, what bothers me the most is it is obvious that the White House knows that a lot of people in the military are not going to vote for them, so therefore they're trying to find out how many voted last time. They found out that number was 93,000 in the 3 days leading up, and they want to suppress that vote. This is voter suppression of our military men and women, and that's sad.
Well, Mark, the judge made this ruling after the Obama campaign argued that all voters needed to have the option of casting their ballots in person in that critical swing state. The critics are arguing this is an obvious campaign move to influence the outcome. What's your thought on that?
I think that under the Constitution of the United States, everyone has the equal right to vote. Period. Ben is arguing that military people get more votes or more access to voting or more rights to vote than other people.
No, I didn't. I never said they get more votes.
Ben, you talk for 2 minutes. Let me have a chance to speak, and then you can respond, okay? Now, the law is very simple. Everyone has the right to vote. What Secretary of State John Husted did in Ohio is he did 3 things. First of all, he set up a system whereby in conservative white counties, the people have more access to voting booths and not in the liberal black counties. Then he also argued, this was a weird one, he said that if poll workers tell you to vote in the wrong place, they can throw your ballot away even if it's not the voter's fault. Democrats said, hey, if I go and I vote, you shouldn't throw away my vote if I don't do anything wrong. John Husted fought that. And the third thing and most important thing, let me finish, Ben, the most important thing, you gotta let me finish?
Okay, let me finish real quick and then let him jump in. Come on.
The most important thing, and this was confirmed by John Husted, is he didn't want blacks to vote on the Sunday before the election. Because the Sunday before the election, a lot of African Americans who work during the week go after church and vote. They've been doing this in Ohio for years. The question is, should everyone have the equal right to vote, or should blacks be denied the right to vote?
Let him jump in here and respond. Go ahead, Mark.
Look, this is the classic example of this White House and what they do. They try to throw race in there and claim this is voter suppression.
It is.
When the person that's vote is being suppressed here is those that wear the uniform. They don't get to vote twice, as you tried to allude a moment ago. They vote once, and the military men and women should have the most flexibility to be able to vote when it's convenient for them. And they don't get to vote twice.
Okay, let me jump in here for just a moment, guys. Ohio is among the 32 states, plus the District of Columbia, that allows voters to cast an early ballot by mail or person without having to give a reason. But Democrats are arguing that giving the military living overseas, for example, special consideration is unfair. Why is that unfair, Mark?
It's unfair to say that some votes matter more than others. By the way, it's not just military. Republicans living in Switzerland would be able to vote also, whereas blacks living in Cleveland would not be able to vote. The answer is very simple. The Constitution says we all have an equal right to vote. If a military person, someone wearing the uniform, someone in Switzerland can vote.
But what about the other states that get to decide when and where they're going to have those votes cast? The other states allow early voting.
Right.
What's wrong about that?
That's the point. Ohio should allow early voting. Remember, Ben is arguing against early voting.
But they also decide if military can be involved or not.
Early voting.
No. The answer is everyone has the equal right to vote under the law. Ben says they shouldn't. The Republicans said they shouldn't. They try to disenfranchise 93,000 early voters.
Go ahead, Ben.
Why not equal rights under the law,
Let me make it very clear.
Go ahead, Ben.
Let me make it very clear. The White House knows that this affects 90,000+ military men and women. And it's obvious, Mark, that you're willing to throw race into this. You're
Ben,
willing
you're
to throw
trying to
in
stop
all
people
these
from
things
voting. Why?
to fearmonger people.
Ben, the law
Mark,
was not about
why
whether
should a
military could vote.
man or woman? Let me
Ben,
ask
Ben,
this simple question. Hold
Obama
on.
agreed with-
Why shouldn't a military man or woman be able to vote
Of course they should.
when it's more convenient for them? You don't want them to vote because they're military
Ben,
and they're not going to vote for Barack Obama in large numbers, and you know
Ben,
that.
the Democrats and Republicans agreed that the military should be able to vote. That wasn't the question in the lawsuit. The question in the lawsuit was whether blacks should be able to vote
have the
on the
availability
Sunday
to vote
before.
in the last 3 days?
Everyone should have the same right to vote, period. We're all equal under the law. I don't know why you think that some people are more equal than
I think
others.
that the military
Bush v. Gore
should
was
be given the ability to
ostensibly
vote on
about
a more
the
easy
idea
basis
that
in the
everyone
last
has the
day.
All
right
right,
to vote
gentlemen,
under the
but
law.
let me ask both of you this. Mark, certainly the fact that the Obama administration has done this at a time when this is a key battleground state. This is a time
they
when
think everyone should vote.
all the votes are very critical at this time, but certainly Ohio has done this for the last several years. It is
Right.
not something new. They've allowed
Right.
the military a chance to have
why
this
is
early
Ben
voting.
against it?
So why stop that now? Why stop
I
having
don't know
that?
why Ben's against it. I don't know why the Republicans are against it. As you say, the Ohio voters
Again,
have
I
allowed
can
early
speak for
voting since
myself,
2005. Why is Ohio suing
No,
to
I'm
keep
saying why.
93,000 people
I'm
from
asking
voting?
why not give the military this option just for
Obama
them?
supports that. Look, really, Uma, please, Ben, read the lawsuit.
No, he doesn't. You're
Obama
using
supports
race to
the right
actually get rid
of the
of it.
military to vote. Ben and the Republicans say that people outside the military
Again,
should
I
not
can
have
speak
those
for
same rights
myself,
to
Mark.
vote. That's what the case is. I invite your listeners to read the case for yourself. The facts are very clear. Obama supports
and
the
I've
right
read
of
the
military
case,
to
and
vote.
let's go back
Ben and
to
the
the
Republicans
basics
want to
of
Ben,
deny
this.
blacks the right
let me
to
give you
vote.
the final word on this.
This is real simple. The Democratic Party, the White House, saw that there's 90,000+ military men and women that vote in those last
And
3
they
days.
support that.
They
Why
want
are
to
you against
suppress their
blacks
vote
voting,
because
too?
they don't want them to vote.
All
They
right.
don't want them to vote because they usually vote Republicans.
That's not true.
it. They
Ben,
don't want to vote. They're
okay.
trying to
Look at
stop
the
them
All
from
right,
live
voting.
that-
Ryan on TV.